Hi everyone, this is Daryl and welcome back to Book Odyssey. In this video I'm... crap. Oh, hi BookBot.
What are you doing?
Nothing. Just filming a video for Book Odyssey. How about you?
Going through your internet search history.
What? You can't just go looking through people's search history like that. Things get misspelled and stuff comes up that you definitely weren't looking for but could not look away from.
Why were you looking at other robots?
Oh, that.
Don't you love me anymore?
Listen, the truth is, BookBot, I've been researching for a video on robots.
You were going to do a video on robots and I wasn't informed. You never let me be in your videos anymore. I'm no more than a toaster unit to you.
You're not a toaster unit to me. Toasters are useful.
What?
Nothing. Look, if it means that much to you, you can be in the video, but you've got to try to be a bit more personable.
I can do that.
And stop calling people meat monkeys.
Negative.
But...
Negative.
Fine. Just don't be weird. Can we get on with the video now?
You may proceed.
Great. Hi guys, this is Daryl and welcome back to Book Odyssey. In this video,
Get to humans!
Robots have been a firm pillar in science fiction literature for more than a century and have bled across all genres and media in some form or another, so that what we largely now consider a robot has been firmly ingrained into pop culture. For reference, my definition of robot for the sake of this video will only include traditional robots and androids with often humanoid forms and largely won't include artificial intelligences. Think less HAL from 2001: A Space Odyssey or The Culture Mines, and more Asimov's R. Daniel Oliver and Philip K. Dick's Replicants. Robots blur the line between people and technology and present us with a host of ethical dilemmas that touch on subjugation, caste and class systems, freedoms, and what exactly constitutes life. How robotics might have a whole host of unintended consequences for humans is a major trope in the genre, including the idea of machines replacing humans, becoming sentient, and even revolting against their human creators, have long been robot tropes in sci-fi. The robot's origin in sci-fi can be traced back to its relation to the Industrial Revolution, which saw a historic change from humans as the main source of labour in the workforce to machine labour and manufacturing. The term robot was reportedly coined in the 1920 play Rossum's Universal Robots by Czech writer Karel. The word robot comes from the Czech phrase robota, which refers to servitude. Čapek's robots remember everything, but lack creative thought, and the utopian life they provide ultimately lacks meaning. After the robots revolt, they attempt to learn the secret of self-duplication. Before this, mechanical representations of humans appear in the short story The Sandman by E.T.A. Hoffmann in 1816 and in Samuel Butler's 1872 novel Erewhon, with the rise of artificial intelligence. The word robot doesn't appear at all in the novel, but instead uses the word machines. Then in 1907, Lyman Frank Baum's children's novel Ozma of Oz introduced a human mechanical man with the character Tick-Tock, which was powered by clockwork. Then in 1925, the adaptation of Thea von Harbou's novel Metropolis led to the first robot depicted on screen with the famous machine human, a concept of design that still influences pop culture to this day. Robots have remained the subject of many sci-fi because they still hold the same fascination. They appeal to humanity's sense of curiosity and also because they can be unnerving. They're mankind's enigmatic mechanical offspring, and the storytelling potential is near limitless. It's impossible to talk about robots in sci-fi without acknowledging the colossal impact Isaac Asimov had on contemporary robot canon. Asimov's Robot series is a collection of 37 short stories and 6 novels, featuring robots with positronic brains, a fictional device that functions as a central processing unit for robots and allows them to form consciousness. In the 1942 short story Runaround, which appears in I, Robot, Asimov proposes a set of 3 rules deeply rooted in each robot's programming, developed to protect humans when they are interacting with robots. A robot may not injure a human being or through inaction allow a human being to come to harm. A robot must obey the orders given to it by human beings except where such orders would conflict with the first law. A robot must protect its own existence as long as such protection does not conflict with the first or second laws. These laws are still referenced today, 70 years after the story's first publication, displaying the lingering impact Asimov had on the robot sci-fi trope as well as real-life robotics. Asimov's robot series were not initially written as a series, despite all featuring his positronic robots. What they all share is the theme of the interaction between humans and robots, and all, in one way or another, touch on the theme of morality. After establishing his 3 laws in the first in the robot series, I, Robot, Asimov explores the idea that robots, like humans, might interpret the laws in ways that have unintended consequences, as well as exploring circumstances where the laws become jumbled up in a robot's programming. According to the Anthology Before the Golden Age, published in 1975, Asimov cited the inspiration for his robot series as the Zoromes, a race of mechanical men featured in the 1931 short story called The Jameson Satellite by Neil R. Jones. Asimov said, "It is from the Zoromes, beginning with their first appearance in the Jameson Satellite, that I got my own feeling for benevolent robots who could serve man with decency as these had served Professor Jameson. It was the Zoromes, then, who were the spiritual ancestors of my own positronic robots, all of them from Robbie to Ardenil." During the 1950s, at the same time Asimov was writing his robot series, other sci-fi writers were also turning their attention to the theme of mechanical people. In 1952, Clifford D. Simak published City, a unique series of tales focused around the Webster family and their robot servant Jenkins. Each tale tells a story of the breakdown and destruction of human civilization and the eventual rise of an intelligent canine species. Through 10,000 years of future history, the robot Jenkins survives it all. Jenkins fits into the servile, loyal trope of the robot acting out its programming to serve mankind to the end, but like so many stories that follow it, also acts as a witness to events across millennia. In 1953, Isaac Asimov began what is known as the Elijah Bayley series within his robot series with the Caves of Steel. These are mysteries starring the human Elijah Bayley and his robot humanoid partner, R. Daniil Oliver. Daniil, whose R stands for robot, is probably the most well-known of the robots among sci-fi fans, featuring both Asimov's robot series and his Foundation series when the two were bridged in Robots and Empire in 1985, at which point Daniil is almost 20,000 years old. In Robots and Empire, Daniil formulates the zeroth law of robotics, which states a human may not harm humanity or through inaction allow humanity to come to harm. A year later, in 1953, Philip K. Dick published Second Variety. PKD explores the implications of nuclear war and develops an unintended consequence trope for the robots, which have both unchained themselves from human control and learned how to replicate. He also explores the idea of robots being able to integrate unseen among humans, exploiting a use of paranoia, something PKD is a master of. The concept of robots evolved with Dick as a writer, and as science fiction transitioned from the pulp and golden age eras into the more cerebral new wave, we were introduced to replicants in 1968 with his seminal work, Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep? Here, PKD explores the increasingly blurred line between humans and robots and questions what it means to be human. In 1974, Barrington J. Bayley's novel The Soul of the Robot features the robot Jasperodus, the only robot with a soul, as he attempts to prove that he is the equal of the humans around him. Barrington Bayley explores the now familiar measure of a man trope, where the solitary sentient robot must prove its own humanity, for lack of a better word. This theme was also explored in 1976 when Asimov returned to robotics with The Bicentennial Man and Other Stories. The story depicts Andrew, one of Earth's first house robot domestic servants, as he abandons his domestic duties in favour of more intellectual pursuits. Over time, Andrew evolves ambitions far beyond anything ever experienced by any other mechanical man. Toward the end of the 70s, in 1979, Douglas Adams published The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, and readers were able to enjoy Marvin, the paranoid android, a robot prototype who suffers from depression of an existential nature. With Marvin, Adams subverted a prevalent trope at the time, the cool, implacable, emotionless and subservient robot, flipping it on its head and giving Marvin an all-too-human neurosis. In 1980, Mockingbird by Walter Tevis explores a distant dystopian future where humans, whose numbers are dwindling towards extinction, have lost the ability and the desire to read. It explores the danger of a technology, in this case robots, that makes life too easy for humans, removing the slightest obstacle or challenge, resulting in a decline in the desire to live. In the mid-80s and early 90s, as cyberpunk emerged around the creation of the internet, robots as we knew them, servile, humanoid and contained within very physical forms, offshooted into something darker, flooded with data streams and neon lights, exploring artificial intelligences that didn't necessarily need a humanoid body, or even a physical form for that matter. Many books explored these themes, including William Gibson's seminal work, The Sprawl Trilogy. Before this, however, in 1982, Rudy Rucker's Where Technology begins to probe around the edges of cyberpunk themes as it explores a kind of robot with artificial intelligence developed through natural selection rather than through design. The story supposes humanity doesn't have the ability to bestow sentience, and that intelligence that could equal or surpass the human mind is something that can only be acquired through learning and evolving. In 1992, Isaac Asimov and Robert Silverberg ignore the new and trendy cyberpunk AI themes of modern writers to publish The Positronic Man, based on Asimov's The Bicentennial Man, and then in 2003 were introduced to an altogether new type of robot in Dan Simmons' Ilium Olympus duology. In this far future story, the Moravec robots, Manmut the European and Orphu of Io, are intelligent robots that live beyond the asteroid belt and are hybridized with organic components. While Manmut might be considered more humanoid in form, Orphu of Io is heavily armoured and shaped not unlike a crab. Manmut and Orphu in many ways broke free of the traditional robot tropes without wandering into the cyberpunk realms that Simon explored with the AI Technicore in his Hyperion Cantos. The Moravecs are complex, fascinating, relatable, and likeable. They are in many ways more human than many of the humans themselves in this story. In the late noughties, Ken McLeod published The Night Sessions in 2009, where he presents a complex integration of robots into human society, with some being rejected by their human creators precisely because of their humanoid appearance. In 2011, the Robocalypse series by Daniel H. Wilson, who has a PhD in robotics, took a fast-paced thriller approach to superintelligent AI that grows sentient and murderous. And then in 2017, Martha Wells published The Murderbot Diaries, which manages to combine humour with thoughtful themes. The ongoing series is about an artificial construct called Murderbot, which is designed as a security unit. It manages to override its governor module, enabling it to develop independence, which it primarily uses to watch soap operas. Murderbot is everything you don't expect from a cyborg security agent, and could be likened in many ways to the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy's Marvin, as Murderbot suffers from painful social anxiety. This results in a comical yet astute commentary on humans and their behaviour. Robots' emotions and love are explored when Anna Lee Newitt published Autonomous in the same year, featuring a military robot who falls in love. And in 2019, the genre of literary fiction turned its attention to robots with Ian McEwan's Machines Like Me, exploring how a domestic robot affects the relationship between the two main characters. Then in 2022, Levi Tadar published Neom, a far-future sci-fi fable about a robot that unearths a relic of a mysterious golden man as it searches for its lost love, again bringing the emotional theme of a traditionally unemotional archetype. Robots as a concept and how we think of them have clearly evolved over decades, and will continue to evolve as we enter new realms of robotics and as sci-fi writers continue to explore the technological, ethical, societal and security implications of handing over chunks of our industry and daily responsibilities to the mechanical. According to the International Federation of Robotics, the sales of robots for the service sector grew by 37% worldwide last year. The majority are used in indoor environments like factories. While these clearly aren't the humanoid, walking, talking robots of the classic sci-fi trope, what's clear is that robotics is an area of technology that will become an increasing part of our lives, meaning sci-fi writers will continue to explore just exactly what this means for humanity. Thanks for watching, guys. I'd love to hear your favourite sci-fi robots in the comments below. Until next time, happy reading.